Hello, I'm Tammy McKenzie. I'm the director of the Ola Fellowship. How do we impact the global conversation on AI in society? How do you and I do that? How do we join in that conversation? So there's different mechanisms. I've studied institutionalism. It's the process by which ideas and practices in society become institutionalized into what we call institutions, which are large organizations, in some cases are informal institutions, things like marriage practices or gender conventions. So the question is, how can we impact these conversations? The answer is we have to get together to do it. So whoever you are in society, you have a legitimacy and you have a legitimate access to the conversation about anything that's going to affect you. That's called subsidiarity. It's a fundamental principle of laws around the world, including in authoritarian states, where the laws have to be acceptable to the people who will be affected by them. And in most governments, that means that the people who will be affected by the law have a right and a need to help craft it. How do they do that? You've seen letters to the editor. That's the classic one, and we're all aware of it. But there's dozens more. There's dozens legitimate ways to get involved in the decision making. I'll start with a few. You can start communicating with the implementers. If you're using a tool, you could communicate with them about it. If you're using a tool, you could communicate with any organization you belong to about it. In civil society, you have unions and churches and clubs and associations. You can talk, all these groups, every single one of the groups I've just mentioned, if you're in a union, your union's already talking about AI in society. So going access to that conversation through them works. We have more formal institutions or governments. We have ombudsman services. We have regulations that say that when they put in new regulations, they have to consult. They have to hear the public. And that's open to the public. You can usually do it by writing or by video. Social media influence, that's one. You could use your influence on social media if that's what you're into. Others are just talking with your family, getting involved, getting informed. It's a hard situation. AI is already there. I know, and I've been told many times at many events, I don't want to talk about AI. I hate AI. AI sucks. It's taken everything over or whatnot. It hasn't taken everything over, but the concern is, my concern is that if people aren't getting involved with it, it's happening to them, because not getting involved with it isn't stopping it from happening. It's here. It's very similar, and I come from climate change activism. It's very similar to the environmental situation that we're in. It's locked up with power and money and international purview and national purviews and extra-national organizations. It's presented to us as inevitable, but it really isn't. And like the environment, though the machine is slow, if we hadn't already been acting, it would be worse. And in this case, for the case of AI, it's also newer. So, well, okay, AI itself, not new. AI touching every aspect of society is somewhat new. So how do you and me and how do any of us get to have an impact on the global conversation of AI in society? It's a lot of work, but it's not so complicated. Get informed, look around you where AI is touching, and see what organizations are already there. So again, I'd say three categories, There's the general public category of activity where you talk with your family and friends, you engage in local organizations that are dealing with this. You look at the charities and the organizations that are helping vulnerable people. The second category is less informal, more towards formal. Unions, churches, associations. If you're a First Nations person, your councils can usually, or many of them are already dealing with this. And then our formal democratic systems. So the regional, municipal, city, mega city, province, state governments, national governments. All these governments have mechanisms for people to get involved and to be able to have an impact on society. The other thing is talk about it. Whether you're more inclined to talk on a video or write, you don't need to be a professional to talk about what you think about things. In fact, you can come and talk about it with us at the Ola Fellowship. You can write about it with us at the Ola Fellowship. And there's other organizations that do the same. Again, I'll say it again and again. It's because it's a huge conversation in society, and it requires all of us at the table to be able to making fit to purpose solutions and implementations. It's not inevitable, but it's here, and it needs our attention. Thank you.